batter up, bonk, boink, bonk, bang! I make it look easy. You knuckleheads ain't even worth the effort. I am the scout here. I am owning you, you fat, bald, fatty, fat... Denied. Fat. Work, damn it. Aw, crap. You like that, Chuckle Nuts? Eat it, fatty.
Normal, medium, giant. Cheap but weak. Overall good. And the most expensive but strongest. Good. Okay, last thing. Like, subscribe, and join my Discord. Hold on, let me get my tier list and subclasses. Okay, here's the tier list, and here are the subclasses. And let's start with normal tier, Powerhouse. Okay, let's start with abilities. Whenever Powerhouse kills an enemy, he gains additional stats to his weapon. This includes attack speed, reload speed, and damage. Because these stats are temporary, he struggles a lot at the damage front in the early game. To keep it simple, I'll track damage, survivability, and utility. So for the damage, as long as you keep killing, you have a pretty good damage, but you don't keep killing most of the time. And this also reminds me one of its main weakness. No damage against single targets. As you can see, this giant almost cost me the game, and only because of stupid luck and my pyro did I manage to survive. This is the reason why damage goes to C. Survivability, what can I say? He's a scout, double jump, movement speed, and overheal from credits. Of course, he's going to A. Last but not least, utility. He's a scout again, picking up money, that's a good thing, C. That covers his early game. Of course, he can be an absolute beast and deal with a lot of enemies, but he can also flop and die instantly if he's not careful and too much over his head. Okay, let's cover his upgrades. Hyperdrive. You either gain mini or a full crit on kill. It's way easier to snowball. A tier. Overclock. Increase duration and allow assist to also increase your overdrive. S tier. And cola recovery. Heals you on drinking your cola. It's F tier. Here I picked 2 overdrives and only 1 duration. That'll be a mistake. As I said, it really was a mistake. Here I miss my only shot and do not kill the medic, which resets my overdrive, which lets the giant walk right to our hatch and defeat us. Second time the charm, and this time I took the duration over hyperdrive to have more consistent damage. And it worked! Having 11 seconds of duration of actually thinking what do you wanna do or hit enemy while your teammate kills it is absolutely the best. So, for the mid game, I give this subclass damage an A. On the other hand, survivability wasn't improved at all, and the harder waves decreased the survivability rating to B. And of course, utility wasn't changed at all, so yeah, C. Again, I finished this wave with no difficulty except the tank and the giants. So, mid game is looking pretty good. I would recommend this class in mid game, but let's see how the late game holds up. Okay, bring it on. Full upgrades, no holding back. So yeah, we lost the wave. The powerhouse falls off really fast. So he struggles against giants and tanks a lot. But he can still pick off stragglers and is overall good. At least good enough for CCC. Okay, back to the tier list. Let's recapitulate the overall strength of Powerhouse. In the early game he got C, A, C. I think it's about B- in overall. In mid game he got A, B and C, which is about A- in overall. And in the late game he got C, C and C, so overall C. So where does this land our Powerhouse on tier list? I think Powerhouse is B tier. Of course, all of this comes down to who plays him. Some players can turn him into A tier or C tier. Let's go to the medium tier, Shortstop. So, let's look at the subclass. You have pretty good health, no secondary, and a bat. The ability is by no surprise, tied to the Shortstop. As you can see, each shot increases attack speed. This attack speed bonus lasts until a reload. That's all for the ability. Let's go on to the damage. As you can see, shooting 40 shots from Shortstop can be a powerful way to deal with lots of enemies, as its damage is similar to a fully upgraded Scout from normal MvM. This goes the same for Giants and crowd of enemies as well, the only difference being that Giants won't wait for you to stack up your Rampage. So a good thing to do is wait for your last 10 or 20 shots to dump mag in them and then run away. Or dodge, because you cannot buy the subclass before wave 3, we'll start from mid-game damage. And the damage is A. Because of the low ammo in reserve and having to wait for the ramp up damage, it's nowhere near an S tier and I would say even A-. So, survivability. I'll make this pretty quick. You are a scout, so you heal from money. You heal from health packs, I'll touch that on later. And you are mobile range class. So yeah, S tier. Ooh, cool transition to another category. Who am I kidding? He's scout, he can take money, maybe a shove, but C. Okay, let's go on to the late game. And we can start with upgrades. Okay, let's start with momentum. Increase the rampage stacks on kill or assist, and increase the max amount of stacks on a rampage. This will allow you to shoot faster. A. Charge. Movement speed per rampage stack. It is pretty good, have more mobility. B. Adrenaline. Per rampage stack, increase reload speed. A. Again, let's start with damage. Same as upgraded or unupgraded, damage against tanks really sucks. You deal some damage, but not a lot. On the other hand, damage against crowd of enemies is really good, as long as you can aim, which isn't my forte. And another thing that helps, on full 120% bonus attack speed from Rampage, your reload speed is almost instantaneous. This helps with damage a lot. Even though I don't have footage, dealing with giants is also easier. With the upgrade Adrenaline, you can easily juke them, deal more damage because of the faster firing speed, and don't have to wait for the reload most of the time. I would not classify it as an S tier damage, but at least A+. Survivability, again, in later waves you get a lot more damaged, and your increased size will actually matter. So even with the extra movement speed from Adrenaline, I think it's only A tier. Utility C. Okay, Shortstop mid-game. Damage was A to A-, survivability was S, and utility was C. Overall, I would go with A. Now for the late game, damage was A+, survivability was A, and utility was C. So overall, a B+. So I think Shortstop subclass is a good A. Okay, and now let's go on to another subclass called D4C4. Okay, so this is D4C4, a medium tier subclass. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I hate it. It's one of my earliest creations, and it can be seen. Let's start with survivability. This class may look tough. It has 700 HP and is not the slowest, but has only melee weapon. And its ability requires the subclass to be in proximity of enemies, which is placing C4 on the ground. This combination gives this class survivability of D, and I'll go straight to damage. The melee bat isn't even worth talking about, but the C4 actually can deal damage, but it requires certain conditions, making this a really volatile damage, sometimes dealing 100, 500 or 1000 damage. And sometimes the condition to deal most damage actually leads to your death. Because of this, I will give it C+, and I don't even want to mention utility. Again, it's C, he's a scout. Okay, this time let's go into late game, starting with upgrades. First upgrade, C4 capacity, gives extra charge of C4, it's horrendous, D, and manual detonation, which you wouldn't guess, manually detonates C4. It's not bad, but it has a cooldown, so it's not the best. C. Let's go late game. Damage. The only change that happened is +2 C4. This doesn't help with damage at all. Not against single targets like giants, and not even against crowds. D. Survivability. Oh, this survivability. There is only one way to explain how bad the survivability is on this class. Easy, watch. Now, before you say, well, you're trash, of course you got to be at a distance. I really can't be at a distance with this class. I tried to dodge as much as I could, but nope, it only took 5 seconds and 20 milliseconds. For 700 HP and a lot mobility scout to die. I'm going to give it F+ because of the large HP pool. Utility C, don't even ask. Okay guys, I picked way too big of a project, so let's speed it up. D. C. Overall, C-. Late game. D. F+. C. And overall, D. You can see the results and think to yourself, it's not that bad, but I think D is like having no upgrades at all, so landing in F is brutally bad. For that reason, let's grab him and put him into the D tier. And let's go into the medium tier, Sandman Slinger. Oh, Sandman Slinger, my favorite. I really do like this class. Let's start with its abilities and weapons. Or more of a weapon. He only has one weapon, and that is a Sandman Slinger. He can throw a ball that will fly towards enemies. When hitting them, it will apply Mark of Death. Your teammates can deal mini-crits to them, or you can consume the mark by hitting them to create a small explosion that deals some damage. If D4C4 was Daniel, this is the cooler Daniel. You are way faster than him, you have similar HP, and most of the time, when you go into the melee, you actually clear enemies. So while we are at it, we can go to the damage. The damage you deal doesn't vary that much. It's always 150 damage to the main target that actually consume the mark, and 150 and less damage to all around them. It's small radius, but it's pretty consistent. Plus you can pick up the ball to shoot it again. In my opinion, way better than D4C4. I would say about B. Now let's cover survivability. As I said, you have the movement speed of Scout, enough HP to tank something, and have the ability to pick up money as the other scouts to overheal. Even though you have to get up close to actually deal the damage, I would say it's also B. And for utility, it's not actually C this time, it's again B, because the mark on death is still working for the other players, so they can deal extra damage to all the marked enemies. Wait, what do you mean footage lost? I didn't record that part? Oh, come on. Then use some kind of freeze frame, I don't care. Screenshot can be good. Okay, let's do these fast as well. Grand Slam, more damage, is good. A tier. Vampiric Pitch, and not good, not bad. C tier. Blow up pancakes. You gain some range, so B tier. So, how does the Sandman fare in late game? I would say he's really good. Starting again with damage, going from 150 to 300 per marked enemy is a lot of damage. Double. Which can feel absolutely insane. With the ability to explode enemies remotely, it's way better. But it's true that there are more giants in the late game, against which this subclass struggles a lot, so I would leave it at B. Survivability is the same as early game, except the heal on hit, nothing really changes. So, because of the heal on hit and increasing difficulty, I think it's the same as mid game. B. And of course, the utility remains unchanged as well, because the minicrits are always useful. I'm not going to bore you to death, it was all B. Yeah, I'm surprised as well, it's a really overall good character. The most balanced at that. Well, of course I'm going to put it in a B tier, but I wouldn't be against putting it in an A tier, because of how consistent he is. Let's go to the giant tier, Hemorhage. So, let's start with ability. This giant has only one special ability. Each hit on any weapon stacks bleed. Bleed stacks up to 25 per enemy, but giants and tanks can bleed up to 50. And also, each weapon has its own niche. The Boston Basher, as you can see, deals melee in an area, meaning you can stack bleed on multiple enemies nearby. You can also stack bleed on Hubert enemies. Secondary, your cleaver, can be instantly thrown and heals you on hit. This healing scales based off bleeding targets. And lastly, the Scattergun. Scattergun does multiple stacks of bleed based on damage done. Meaning against horde of enemies, the Boston Basher is the most viable way, while against targets such as giants or tanks, Scattergun does the most damage. And when on low HP, you can heal yourself using the cleaver. But in the end, all giants gain rapid regeneration based on how many kills or out of combat they were. Now, with all the info, I can tell you the entire ranking. Let's start again with the damage. It deals a lot of damage. It can be dealt to tanks, multiple enemies and single targets. So he's really viable. But the main problem. For the price, and his price is 3000 credits, the most in the game, he doesn't deal that much damage. So I'll put him in a B. Survivability. He's not tanky as the other giants, but pretty mobile and he's still a giant. With cleaver going clutch most of the times, I would say A+ tier. And again, he's a scout, so utility C tier. Okay, so let's skip all the details. Giants do not have early or mid game, because they can be bought from the 5th wave up. And because the overall is B+, I'm gonna put it in between B and A tier. Again, if it wasn't the most pricey one, I would put it in between S and A tier. Let's go on to the last one, Tempest. Again, this class is a little cheaper, only 2500. And its main ability is Storm. You have two abilities in which you can use it. Right click to create lightning charges, or by hitting enemies while having Storm, will make a lightning jump between enemies. This deals massive damage to multiple enemies, but against single targets such as giants or tanks, this is really ineffective. Tempest also doesn't have any range options and only has its bat, meaning damage is only C+. Survivability is also worst. You may have similar HP to Hemorrhage and triple jump, but the ability to use ranged weapons, which Tempest doesn't have, really tanks your survivability, landing in a C+. And because this giant doesn't have any utility, but is still scout, it will be again C tier. Because the scouts were the first creation, they are the weakest in design and utility from all other subclasses. So if the video does well, I'll cover the other classes as well, which are way more creative in design and utility, with way cooler abilities. Or you can just join my Discord, go on to my actual TF2 server that should be running 24/7 with this vscript, or you can join me whenever I stream. So, C+, C+, and C, being overall C+, doesn't make the best image, at least for a giant. And even though it could kill infinite amount of normal robots, the second giant or tanks show up, it's over for it. So if I ever start to remake old subclasses, I'll start with scouts for sure. And that's all, bye!